But I know you probably somewhere different. But I'm sorry.
but in essence, so you saw that in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Did you initially get did someone tell you about it, or you on your own research you found out about the church, led you to the Orthodox Church?
Brother Hiley.
Okay.
He was the first one that told me about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you came, and how long? When did you decide to be baptized? Can you tell us what preparations? When you decided? How were there any requirements? Did you have to study? Because the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the traditions and teachings are unique and different from your contemporary Christian churches. So, how was that process?
I'm trying to remember. It was in July, so my guess is, it was probably in April or so, and then I got baptized July 17th on Silassie Day, so I'm guessing
19.
think about 98.
98.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm thinking I didn't wait a year, so I'm thinking it was in that
within
first,
a year.
No, I'm thinking it was in that 3 months later when I got baptized. Would be my guess. Yeah, I might be wrong on that, but I don't think I waited a year and 3 months. That doesn't seem right, but I can't remember. And so, I was studying some of the teachings. At this time, there wasn't really a whole lot of even, the teachings weren't really translated into English at all at this point. You know what I mean? So, I was reading some teachings, and there was a book that His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I had translated into English, for the purpose of sending the church to the West to teach people. And I got a copy of that. Actually, that might have been later. That was even later, actually. I don't think I had a book. And I think they just kind of taught me by mouth. Yeah, just word of mouth. And I studied some, and then I was baptized.
Now you have a very, I know this already, but you have a very special story about who baptized you, if you want to share a little bit about that with the world.
True. Yeah, it was the current patriarch, His Holiness Bona Matthias. He was Buzo Batachin. He baptized me, and it was a very, very special day.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, it was a big blessing, and it was a great day, very good day.
So when you after you were baptized, did you continue Sunday school? I remember when I first met you, you were beating a kavaro like I've never seen, and I thought I was convinced you were Ethiopian. I mean, I had no idea until I spoke with you, but that just doesn't come overnight, and so, how important is service? I mean, can Ethiopian Christian just go to church and just participate in the Kadase and go home? Is that enough, you think, to be Christ-like, or is that the objective of a Christian? Just to go and I mean, how important is service? And what did you experience in the Sunday school that people can benefit from?
Yeah, well, I think he said that he that is the greatest among you is a servant of all, and Christ came as a form of a servant. So I think service is a great part of what it means to be a Christian. I think Kadasi is a starting point. Especially learning what Kadasi means and striving to imitate it too. Because I think sometimes we can just, because we're saying the prayer, we assume that we're living that prayer. But the more that I seek to live out the teachings of the Kadasi, I find that to be really one of the greatest services to the church. Because we have to preach the gospel always, but speak when necessary, right? But I think I love singing mezmer and playing the drum, and I mean, I like serving the church in any capacity. And I think the more that you go deeper inside of the church and this spiritual life, it just compels you to service. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think you think about it as much. It's more of just I don't think I mean, to be honest, like when I play the drum, I play it to glorify God, but I don't think of it as service per se. I know a lot of people do, and I have a problem with that, you know what I mean? But you know, I just see to glorify God. And even when I'm teaching in Sunday school and we're teaching mezmer, I always tell the youth that, you know, if there's 2 people in the audience or there's 1,000 people in the audience, I always ask them, who are we singing for? You know what I mean? Because it's not for many people, you know, and it's for God alone, you know, and it's like everybody else is supposed to be in joining and embracing in that process of worshiping and glorifying God, but you know, it's not to you know, entertain people, you know, it's to serve God, you know. So
the word says 2 or more, right?
I mean, I gathered, yeah.
My name, I'm with you. So,
sure.
In your, well, we talked about your church life and how obviously your faith has changed, your religion, your daily practice, your spirituality, and so it's obvious that your secular life or your job, school, all those lives will be affected. How has that affected? How has you being a Christian now in America? America is number 1 first class country in the world. You know, how is it a positive influence, negative influence? How does it influence? Sure, maybe it's not positive or negative, but what's that experience like? Did it change your everyday life and your outlook about the world? The world in the sense of where you're living
right
now.
Right. Okay, now this is for me, right? I strive to remove the barrier between spiritual and secular, meaning that like sometimes like we can say like, so we're in church, so we're gonna treat people a certain way, and then when we're out in the world, we have a next set of parameters or whatever that we can operate from, right? Whereas to me, I strive to bring that spiritual life into every other facet of my life, right? I try not to leave it, you know what I mean? I try to, you know, so when I go back to church on Sunday, it's to kind of just get some more oil for my lamp, you know what I mean, to go back out into the world, you know what I mean, and do this work. I've definitely had challenges, you know, because, you know, the goal is to be in the world but not of the world, you know, and some people don't understand that, and you know, I've tried to learn over time that, you know, you just, you know, you gotta be uncomfortable being misunderstood sometimes, and just really walking it out, because this, you know, the best example for me is, you know, that lived out life, because like Paul talks about that fragrant aroma, you know, which comes from the life. And you know, if I'm going around just like, oh, you should come to the church and this, that, another, you know what I mean, but they're not compelled by something greater than me, then it's really a not, you know. But it's like the more by His grace that we're able to walk inside this love and walk inside this life and to share this love with humanity, the fragrance from that compels people, it draws people in, because that's like the deep yearning. And so you're tapping into something that they might not even fully understand, but they want some of that. Like when the jailer came to Paul and said, what can I do to be saved, right? That was because, you know, he'd never seen faith walked out like that, you know. And so it's like how we're able to walk this out in the midst of the world, in the midst of a system that is actually in direct opposition to Christ, is a way, I think, to really like be that invitation, you know what I mean, or that to invite other people to experience the same grace and fellowship that by grace we're able to, you know.
Well, that actually ironically goes right into what I wanted to ask you is, you know, when you get a taste, you want to tell the world, you want others to get a taste. And did you and especially when it's your community and you want to reach out to them, did you do any ministering, sort of, if I can use that word, around the neighborhoods or your community, within your community, trying to draw people to the church? Did you attempt to
I definitely did that. And I would probably say, talks about you can have zeal without knowledge. You know what I mean? So like when you find something that's great, you want to share it with everybody. You know what I mean? But it's like it's like really like you don't know anything yourself. You know what I mean? And you just run out there and try to tell everybody else. And so it didn't really go as good, right? And so, but over time, I just.
What were some of the challenges and?
I mean, some people they don't like once I really like committed my life to seeking God. I mean, like I didn't care. My friends might want to watch the NFL game. You know what I mean? Like at this point, I was like, no, I can't watch NFL. I can't do this, I can't do that. You know what I mean? It was like I gotta be strictly on this. You know what I mean? And everybody else should be on this. And why are you watching it? You know what I mean? It was like I went through all of them phases, right? Like I said, zeal without knowledge. Right. And but then over time, I just learned more that really it's an internal grace that can be shown abroad. And it's like the more that you step into this light, the sheep hear the voice. And so it's like the deeper that we're inside this, the more people will see it. And it's interesting, like in Matthew 13, talks about the parable of the sower. Is it 10? No, I think it's 13. Where the parable, you sow seeds in the field. Some fall on stony ground, some falls on good ground, right? And he said that that seed was the word of God. You know what I mean? And those that fell in good soil, it would take root, right? Now, everybody's heart is the soil, right? And while like those that have the good heart or the soil, they have that inner yearning, regardless of where they're at, as far as their placement on the earth and this and that, you know what I mean? If you have that true seeking and yearning, you're gonna recognize that voice when you see it, But even if someone's heart is super stony, if our light is bright enough, it'll penetrate that darkness, because perfect love casts out fear, And so I started just understanding that, like, regardless of what station in life people was at, the more that I strive to authentically walk this life out, it would cast the shadows away. Like earlier today, you was talking about the truth and the amber, whatever. Covered it up. You know what I mean? So it's like, so the more that we're able to walk out this life and be that type of ambassador, it removes that and it draws people to seek, the church for themselves, right? So I definitely had some, sorry, I'm sorry, go ahead.